What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Famecast Daily. Today, we need to address a story that's been circulating with a lot of misinformation and confusion. There's been talk about Charlie Kirk's last words to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but we need to set the record straight about what actually happened and when. If you're new here, please subscribe because we're committed to bringing you accurate information, especially during sensitive times like this. First, let's be clear about the timeline here. Charlie Kirk, the conservative political commentator, tragically passed away after being shot during an appearance at Utah Valley University. This was a shocking and devastating event that no one saw coming. However, there's been confusion online about his so-called last words to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. The truth is, his controversial comments about Taylor Swift were made weeks earlier, not as some final message before his death. We need to separate these two very different events. Here's what actually happened with the Taylor Swift situation. When news broke about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's engagement, Charlie Kirk made some controversial statements during one of his shows. He specifically told Taylor Swift to submit to your husband, referencing traditional marriage roles and his conservative viewpoints on relationships. These comments immediately went viral and sparked massive backlash from Swifties and the general public. Many people found his remarks outdated and inappropriate, especially given Taylor Swift's status as an independent, successful businesswoman who's built her own empire. Kirk's comments were part of his broader political commentary, where he often discussed traditional gender roles and conservative family values. He believed that marriage should follow certain traditional structures, and he wasn't shy about sharing those views publicly, regardless of how controversial they might be. The reaction from Taylor Swift's fan base was swift and intense. Swifties flooded social media with responses defending Taylor's right to make her own choices about her relationship and marriage. The hashtags were trending for days, with millions of people pushing back against Kirk's statements. What made this particularly controversial was the timing. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had just gotten engaged, and fans were celebrating this happy moment in their relationship. Kirk's comments felt like an attempt to diminish Taylor's autonomy and success by reducing her to traditional gender role expectations. Many people pointed out that Taylor Swift is one of the most successful artists of all time, a businesswoman who owns her masters, and someone who's consistently advocated for women's rights and independence. The idea that she should submit to anyone struck many as completely out of touch with who she is as a person. It's important to understand that these comments were made in the context of Kirk's regular political commentary, not as any kind of final statement. He was known for making bold, controversial statements that aligned with his conservative political views, and this was just another example of that pattern. The confusion about last words seems to have come from the fact that these comments about Taylor Swift were some of his most widely circulated statements in recent weeks, but they weren't connected to the tragic circumstances of his death at Utah Valley University. Kirk's actual final public appearance was focused on his usual political topics when the shooting occurred. According to reports, when asked about mass shooters during that event, his last recorded word was violence, but this had nothing to do with Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce. It's crucial that we don't mix up these separate incidents or create false narratives about what happened when someone lost their life in a tragic way, and we need to be respectful and accurate when discussing these events. The Taylor Swift controversy was already a separate issue that had run its course in the news cycle. Swifties had made their feelings clear. Other public figures had weighed in on both sides, and the conversation had largely moved on to other topics. Kirk's comments about traditional marriage roles were consistent with his long-held political beliefs, regardless of whether people agreed with them or not. He had made similar statements about other public figures and celebrity relationships in the past. What's really important here is understanding how misinformation spreads, especially during emotional and tragic events. When someone passes away unexpectedly, there's often a rush to find meaning or connections in their recent statements or actions. In this case, people began linking Kirk's controversial Taylor Swift comments to his death, creating a narrative that simply isn't accurate. His comments about Swift were political commentary made weeks earlier, not some prophetic final message. This situation shows us how quickly false narratives can spread on social media. Within hours of news breaking about Kirk's death, the Taylor Swift comments were being reframed as last words, even though they happened at completely different times and in different contexts. It's a reminder that we need to be careful about the information we share and consume, especially during tragic events when emotions are running high and facts can get muddled. The truth is that Charlie Kirk's controversial comments about Taylor Swift were just another example of his political commentary, no different from hundreds of other statements he made during his career. They weren't particularly prophetic or meaningful beyond representing his personal views on marriage and gender roles. His actual death was a tragic event that happened during a university appearance, completely unrelated to any celebrity commentary or social media controversies. So that's the full context behind this story that's been circulating online. Charlie Kirk did make controversial comments about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but they weren't his last words to them, and they weren't connected to the circumstances of his death. It's important that we get these facts straight, both out of respect for everyone involved, and to make sure we're not spreading misinformation during sensitive times. What are your thoughts on how quickly misinformation can spread during tragic events? Drop your comments below, and please make sure you're subscribed to Famecast Daily for accurate fact-check celebrity and news content. Hit that like button if this clarification was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to Famecast Daily for more accurate celebrity news and analysis. Thanks for watching, and remember to always fact-check information before sharing it online.